Buyer's remorse is a real thing. 50 to 60% of home buyers say they regret their purchase. Today I'm going to share 5 tips to make sure you're not one of them. Hi, I'm Sharee Harris with Fathom Realty in St. George, Utah. Today I'm going to go over the top causes of buyer's remorse and how to avoid them. Alright, number 1 is the unexpected cost of repairs. Now, if someone's never owned a home before, they've had mom and dad fixing everything, or the landlord that just shows up and fixes the broken water heater or whatever. It can be a big surprise when these things break. So to help with those costs, one thing is there's a home warranty that you can get when you buy your home. Often the seller will pay for that, but if they don't, you can buy that as well. And so that helps for quite a few things are covered if they break during that first year of your home ownership. Also, a good rule of thumb that many financial advisors have shared is putting aside 1 to 2% of the value of the home. So that means if you bought a home for $400,000, you would set aside $4,000 to $8,000, and then you would continue to replenish this, setting a little bit more aside each month. And so you have this sort of emergency fund. If something breaks, you can fix it easily. If you don't use it all that year, you've still got leftover and it can just keep rolling over, so that as the home gets older, you could have big expenses such as a new roof or whatever, and you've got that money set aside. And so you won't have any remorse over those home repairs. Number 2 is they just spent too much on the home. They're house poor. They can't go to the movies anymore. They can't even put furniture in the house because all of their money is going to make that mortgage payment. So some tips on avoiding that would be to talk to your lender. You may be approved for $750,000, but find out, what does that mean your monthly payment's gonna be? What is your homeowner's insurance, your private mortgage insurance, if you need that as well? Like, what is that final payment gonna look like? So that you can then look at your budget and see, can I truly afford the $750,000 that the lender says I can, but can I really make that monthly payment? So look over that, and if you can't, talk to your lender, what does it look like if my monthly payment is this? And they can help you decide that maybe really to stay in your comfort zone, you shouldn't do over $600,000 for a home. And so once you know that amount, then when you're looking at homes, especially in this market, so many homes, like they say that if you offer listing price, that is a lowball offer. And so many are having to offer above the asking price. And so a lot of emotion can get involved if you're looking at homes that are right there at the top of your range, and then it's pushing it higher and you're like, well, the lender says I can afford this, so it gets pushed up higher. So you could just make it a rule that you're gonna look at homes that are like $25,000 less than the top of your budget, and then you're not as tempted to go over, so that if you are offering a little bit more over asking price, then you won't be going over your budget. And just make sure your real estate agent knows that this is your budget. Number 3 is waiving contingencies and just taking on more risk. So a lot of people, in wanting to get their offer accepted, are waiving maybe their due diligence time. So they're no longer doing home inspections, checking out the neighborhood and what the HOA rules are, or the covenants and restrictions for that neighborhood. And they're just saying, we want the house, and they're waiving all of that. And then later on finding out like, oh, there are some problems with the house that an inspector would have caught, or there's rules in this neighborhood about where I can park, or what color my house can be, or whatever, and I don't really like these rules. I bet they had no idea because they waived their due diligence. You can waive your due diligence and check those things out, but then if you decide you don't want to move forward with it, you're most likely going to lose your earnest money. So it is something that you can do to get that home, but you need to decide for yourself if that's the kind of risk you want to take on waiving those due diligence or appraisals, and talk about very clearly with your agent what are the pros and cons of waiving these contingencies, so that you make an educated decision. All right, the 4th is making just a really fast decision. People are like, oh, they see the house for 15 minutes and then they hurry and get an offer written up and submitted, and they didn't really spend the time looking at the house or contemplating what they really wanted. So to be prepared, because it is a fast moving market right now, is to get clear on what you want. Have a list of what are my needs, what are my wants, you know, what is a total deal breaker, and so that when you are looking at that house, you can see like, yeah, this neighborhood is totally not going to work for us, so it's out. Or it's only 3 bedrooms and we can't do a 3-bedroom, we have to have 4 bedrooms. And so just being very clear on what are the deal breakers for you so that when you do have to make a quick decision, that's already clear. Number 5 is not realizing the cost of a fixer-upper. So one strategy in this market when home values have kept going up is to buy a fixer-upper because you can get it for less. But sometimes that ends up costing you a lot more. So if you're not really educated in that area and able to really analyze the condition of the home and what it's going to take to fix it up, then it's important to make sure during that due diligence time that you're bringing in experts to look at it and give you estimates of what it's going to cost to fix it up. So once you've got the quotes, you can look at the cost of what it's really going to take and see if it's what you really want to do, because nobody wants to be stuck in a house that's half fixed up with no money left to finish. What if you've already bought a home and you're experiencing buyer's remorse? Well, watch for an upcoming video where I will go over some tips and options for you. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.